Hello and welcome to the FUHSO Insiders podcast, your go-to source for all things FUHSO. I am Mantra and I'm excited to be your host for today's episode. My co-host today is
Sam Risco.
Sam. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you doing, man?
I'm fine. If this is your first time listening, this is the FUHSO Insiders podcast, the Monday Scoop series where we'll talk about everything that has been happening in the past week and what we're expecting for the new week. FUHSO is the Federal University of Health Sciences Utsubo, located in Benue State, Nigeria. So let's get into it.
It's unfortunate to start on a sad note, but last week Friday there was a very major event that I would say scarred the entire town of Utsubo. It was a very Black Friday, 20th of October 2023. And normally that day was supposed to just be a remembrance day for the victims that died in NSAS fighting for our nation's struggles. But on that day, a group of armed robbers, they decided that would be the best day to go rob 4 banks. They killed a few people, they killed some people, and they caused general mayhem, and it was actually a very scary sight. I can't imagine the kind of chaos that they caused that day. And our heart goes out to all the victims, all those who lost their lives in the attacks, all those who sustained injuries, and people that were walking and are traumatized, wherever, people that were just going about their day and started seeing men in masks and hillocks and whatever. I can't imagine how it must have felt.
Yeah, it is very, very disheartening. 4 banks were attacked: the First Bank of Nigeria, the United Bank of Africa, Zenith Bank, and Access Bank. Yeah, and I think a police station was attacked too. Some people lost their lives and some police officers too were killed.
I think at last count they said that the death toll was maybe about 15 people. That was the last thing. Some people ended up dying from gunshots in the hospital later on. So they said 4 police officers were killed, including the DPO, Mr. John Adiku. He lost his life in the attacks, and then 3 other officers. Then some other civilians too died either on the site or in the hospital too. So may their souls rest in peace. Hope that the family gains comfort at this time, and condolences to them. And then a few other people also had people that were just generally going about their business. I heard stories about how people were having to rush inside houses they did not know about, hide in gutters, all those kind of stuff, just to make sure that they were out of bullet range from the armed robbers, of course. I can't even imagine how kind of mindset make people just enter. Like Utsubo is not supposed to be this kind of somewhere here. It's not somewhere that you hear this kind of like high stake attacks happen normally. I can't imagine the kind of mindset. I'm even hearing now, like some news reports have started seeing that like many of the robbers were even indigenous, like natives to Utsubo. Can't you imagine seeing like your friends and family, or like people that you know, like people that you grew up with, and then you have like no heart, no mercy, just waste their lives. Like, makes no sense.
Yeah, it's actually very sad and annoying. I cannot even imagine, going to a bank to rob and then just wasting lives like that. Like the images, the videos I saw were just too bad. Of the armed robbers, as of today, we heard that 2 have been killed and 4 of the robbers were apprehended.
Yeah, the vehicles were also recovered, the vehicles used to carry out the attacks. But a lot of them, they said they ended up having to run into the forests with their money, or I don't know, they had to end up they're on the run right now. The police have said that's the Inspector General Police have said that they have put the divisions on their formations of red alert, whatever that means. But I'm sure they're working hard to try and find the killers and try and restore peace at this moment. So just heart out to those who had their lives affected on Friday. Hope that this kind of thing never happens again.
Yeah, out of respect for the victims, we're going to give a moment of silence. Alright, so it's Monday and this is the exam week, and some students are starting their exam today, having their very first papers today. I think the 100 level B and the 200 level. The 100 level B, I think they're writing GAS, and also some 200 level students writing GAS, chemistry, biology, and also physics.
So all those papers today and for the rest of this week, I also hope that you prepared well, you studied hard, and in the end, may all your efforts crown with success. We wish you well in your papers as you write them. Success to you, and the best wishes to all of you.
We wish you all the best. We hope that you excel in your exams. And
last week also on the 19th, there was a sensitization program carried out by the school, mostly for the new students, but I think everybody was free to attend. It was talking about how like exam procedures were going to be carried out. They've just given us various warnings and guiding us on how things supposed to happen during examination time, rules and guidelines for examinations, all those who attended, they're sure you gain something new. Because I don't want the kind of situation where you enter exam hall and then you go and do something and the next thing you know you're having to face panels like Senate meeting because of something you didn't even know about. So the sensation program was actually very insightful in a way. Just new instructions showing that things are actually quite different here in Otupo, with the way they space students out and like information scattering and all those other things that happen during exam time here.
Yes, to make sure you are very prepared to write your exams, make sure you are with everything you need to go into the exam hall with like your ID cards, clearance forms. I would have said dockets, but I don't know if they have started giving out dockets yet, and it's already Monday.
Yeah, and then they also mentioned like you take borrowing of any item in the exam hall will be considered malpractice immediately. So try, even if it's pencil or eraser, calculators especially. I'm sure like that one is a big issue for some students. For calculators, pencil, ruler, anything that you might need in the exam hall, they said that they will not be allowed to like even start borrowing. So just make sure you're prepared ahead of time. Just even you need an extra biro, carry like 3 or 4 biros with you, 2 pencils or whatever. Just make sure that you're ready ahead of time.
Yeah, last week the 100 level B started collecting their ID cards, and other students like the 100 level A, 100 level B also, and 200 level FS started going to the bursary units to get their clearance forms because it's one of the requirements to enter the exam hall with.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know why FUHSO always waits to do these kind of things like at the last minute. I'm sure even last semester it took them so long before they finally got us our ID cards. That's 100 level A students. So at this point, this is the week before examinations, but at least they're finally able to produce them. They've given a lot of people out their ID cards already. And then make sure you're happy with you. Don't forget it in hostel, because I know that race to rush back to hostel. There are people that have to rush back to hostel on the day of examination, pick up the ID card and come back to hall with it. So just make sure that you always carry with you. Be conscious of like time and everything. And then I think they also started issuing financial clearance slips, the clearance forms on Friday. Actually relating to what we spoke about earlier, a lot of people had to go to the banks in town to get to get some things sorted out before they came back and submitted their financial clearance slips. So it's just like, I think by the grace of God that we don't have any FUHSO students having to report that okay they got shot or God forbid the loss of life. So just thank God that yes, we had 0 casualties from FUHSO so far. But about the financial clearances, people were also thrown off guard by the school's demands finally or just suddenly on Friday. So a lot of people had to be rushing to banks in between, calling home, and just to make sure that everything was settled before exam week today.
Yeah, what a week. And like we said, it's exam week. I think every FUHSO student will be writing an exam except the 200 level MBBS students. And during the exam week, that is this week and the next week, I think the 200 level MBBS might not be having lectures. So for those who are not starting their exams today, remember to stay focused and take care of yourselves. Don't forget to study and take breaks when you need them. Remember to rest. You all have what it takes to succeed, and we believe in you guys. We wish you guys good luck. When it's exam time like this, you see a lot of people want to burn the midnight candle and wanted to do TDB.
Actually, the presenters at the sensitization program actually spoke about how dangerous things like TDB are in the middle of examinations. Maybe if you have a free day before a paper, like I know there are some days that not every class has papers or papers in the morning. You can maybe plan your TDB around those times. Then the nights before your exam, please try to get some rest. Like even if it's, I know it sounds small, but even if it's 3 hours, there are people that go to exam hall with like 30 minutes of sleep, and your body is not a machine. Your brain needs rest too. So just try as much as possible to get some form of rest before the paper time.
Yeah, it might be very tempting to go for TDB. Like TDB means all-nighter, like till daybreak. So people that go to school or even in the hostel do all-nighters before maybe a test or an exam. TDBs they might be effective to some.
Spoken by the Lord of TDBs.
I've gone for TDB a few times.
But a few times, man.
But like you should definitely never go for TDB or do TDB in your hostel or wherever the night before your exam or a big test or something like that. It is very tempting, especially when you see there's a lot that you need to cover in this short period of time and you just want to like spend more hours studying. So, and for those of you that would want to do TDB this exam period, here is how to pull off an all-nighter if you have to, by Tamiteo of UBC. We hear around that we should always try to get like about 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, 8 hours.
In FUHSO, like how many hours of sleep do you think?
4, 3, 5 on a good day. Yeah.
Sometimes 8 hours of sleep feels very like unrealistic. Honestly, sleep is like one of the most important things that we should do. Yeah, if we want to get the most out of our studies, we should make sure that we sleep, because that is when the things we learn throughout the day go from the short-term memory to the long-term memory and other brain science stuff. But of course, if we want to be ideal students, we have to like sacrifice some hours of our sleep, as there are other things we need to do as students that may not involve studies and schoolwork and all of that. It may be difficult to get the ideal number of hours of sleep, that is to get maybe 8 hours of sleep every day. And sleep is very important. Like if you deprive yourself of sleep every day, it may cause problems with learning, memory, and even your mood. But in the occasional instance where sleep is the luxury you cannot afford, here are a few ways you can pull an all-nighter or TDB in the least unhealthy and most productive way possible. First of all, make sure you get a good night's sleep the night before or the day before. It is never a good idea to do TDB while running low on sleep. Second, avoid caffeine if you can. Now, when I say caffeine, you might be thinking coffee, and yes, that's true, but even energy drinks like Fearless and the rest, it can result in a bad crash later in the day. Instead, stay hydrated by drinking tea or water. Find a motivated friend to study with. It is much easier to stay awake when you have to keep yourself accountable to each other. Study in a brightly lit area. Keep your phone or computer's brightness setting on medium and try to focus on an object far away every 20 to 30 minutes. Remember the 20-20-20 rule that was mentioned in the last episode. It will help to reduce the strain on your eyes from staring at a bright screen for long periods of time. Work at a proper desk with a chair as far away from your bed as possible. Make sure to sit upright. Now, this is one thing I have also learned. Try to avoid reading on your bed, especially if you want to stay awake for long. Take breaks often, at least every hour. Get like 5 minutes to walk around to keep the blood flowing, to make sure that you stay awake. It helps you. If you are very, very tired, it is okay to take a nap during the TDB. You can take like a 10-minute nap, a 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, just to make sure that you have given your brain the opportunity to rest. Just make sure you set an alarm or have someone there to wake you up. And lastly, be honest with yourself when you hit the wall. Now, admit to yourself when no further studying is going to help. Sometimes we reach this point and we just keep on going, but like at this point it will be far more productive to go to sleep and wake up earlier in the morning to study. Make sure to go to bed early in the evening after your all-nighter to give your body a chance to recover. These are just tips, and remember that no one can function properly without adequate sleep. Your memory retention is best when you have had enough sleep, and sometimes an all-nighter or TDB might just not be worth it at all. If you do decide to do one, make sure to get enough rest the next day.
Also important when you're writing exams, try and eat well. I know it's difficult and tempting to just load up curry before your paper, but or after the paper says, but just try to eat well. It makes a difference. Trust me, it makes a difference when you're not entering the exam hall hungry, or like when you're trying to read, and reading without food is very difficult. So it's like your brain takes a lot of power. So just try to eat well too. Balance diet if possible. If not, eat well still.
Yeah, I know all this advice comes in whenever it's exam time. Try to eat well. Eat well even when you are not writing an exam. So you should practice good habits all the time.
And then speaking on like world news and what's happening around the world right now, the Israeli-Palestine war / invasion / whatever you choose to call it is still ongoing, and it's just getting really critical out there at this point. And I think misinformation at this point is at an all-time high. People are trying to follow the news. I suppose you don't even know what to believe. Yeah, I think there was an issue with the hospital bombing last week, and then you don't like Israel said it's not them. Hamas terrorist organization that is fighting. It said it was not them. Israel said it was not them. Everybody's claiming it was not them. This news agency saying it's these guys. Misinformation it's very hard to control what you hear. Just take everything with a grain of salt. And at the end, I think the main cause for most people is that they want less lives lost. So let peace reign. I mean that's simple. Even here in Nigeria, let peace just reign, because there have been a lot of attacks recently too here in Nigeria, in farming communities and different things too. So let peace reign. Also, in Nigerian news, AIT conducted an investigation into something we discussed last week. That was the private organ harvesting, otherwise known as and penis stealing. and they concluded that it's fake. Like they concluded that it was all fake. Like all the stories. They found some so-called victims, and they asked them like how far, and the victims showed them that well it's still there. Yeah, that was just the artist's conclusion, sure. But like with the scale and the mass of how much is still going on, I don't know how true the report is. I don't know, but I don't know. It's still a mystery how it's happening all over like those states, Nasarawa, Abuja, and Kogi. So I think that's it mostly for news for this week and the world beyond.
All right, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. Do remember to prioritize your hygiene. Make sure to study and get enough rest. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends. You can check out our Student Spotlight series on YouTube, and also the Monday Scoop series is now available on YouTube and on YouTube Music. Let us know what you think about this episode in the interact section or the Q&A section on Spotify. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms at FUHSO Insiders on most social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any updates from us. Until next time, don't forget to stay curious, stay creative, stay engaged.
Also, stay safe, please, and stay focused. Exam no be joke.